On this episode, we talk about more experiences, time, and a coder who I consider an artist. Hey everybody, and welcome to Finish Friday, the show that helps more creative people change more lives. I'm your host, Todd B from Tennessee, and I created this show because on a scale of 1 to getting your brain back into work mode after vacation, creating things is hard, and finishing those things is even harder. Just a great time in Florida last week. Spent some time with the family. I know some of you saw my Instagram stories and stuff, so thanks for keeping along there. I'm terrible at taking vacation. If I'm being honest, I have a really hard time getting out of that rut and doing things like that. And so I'm grateful for a wife that jerks me out of my zone every once in a while to create some more experiences. So a great time for sure. But I missed you guys. And so I'm back doing the show again, of course. I think, I've been thinking about it, and I think I'm going to try and do 50 episodes a year. Basically wrap this all up, maybe give another week off for Christmas or something like that. But it's a good pace, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single week. It's a huge deal. And so let's get into this week's topic. Today I want to talk about 2 ways to improve your creativity according to Steve Jobs. Now listen, you guys, I'm fresh off the vacay, right? So I'm obviously feeling a lot of perspective on this right now. But one of the 2 ways to be creative according to Steve is to have more experiences. Right? So I think a lot of times if you're watching this right now and you're an introvert like me, it's hard to get out of the box and create those new experiences. And what happens is literally our brain is just trying to be as efficient as possible. And a lot of times what that means is it's being as lazy as possible. And so we get into these routines and we feel comfortable doing the same thing a lot. And whenever we get into a new place or a new experience or even take a new route to work, our minds has to adjust to that and create a whole new avenue for that path of thought to go down, and we have to process all these new stimuli. And that's why it seems like sometimes time slows down and speeds up whenever you're on vacation, because your brain is literally having to work double time just to keep up with where it is. And in those new pathways that go up here and in those new experiences, we get a whole host of new ideas. We're able to combine things that we didn't see before simply because we stepped out of our element for a second. And the second thing that creative people do, according to Steve Jobs, is think about their experiences more. You guys, you know I'm not a huge fan of traditional journaling, but I've been getting more and more into it lately simply because it helps me connect those dots in my life that I didn't have connected before. I'm becoming convinced that the difference between people who are generally satisfied with their lives and those who are generally not satisfied is the satisfied folks are able to connect the dot from event to event from event and kind of make a pattern. And another Steve Jobs quote for you: you can't connect the dots going forward, you can only connect them going back. And so I think as artists, as creatives, it's terribly meaningful for us to look back at our past and find where those dots connect, because in between the connection is where the magic happens. I got my retro gear going on today. The old Game Boy, I got the Spider-Man mug, but no cartridge. It's a shame. I would probably play it, honestly. I think if I were to find anything to go into it, I would definitely spend some time there. This week's question of the week, I don't even have to have my iPad for, because it's the most asked question by far. You guys, listen, you can ask me a question anytime in the comments down below, or send an email to todd@toddbryson.com, and I will get you out on the show. This week's question comes from everybody. Right? Okay, like that's a little general, but whenever people join my email list, one of the first things I ask is, what's your biggest problem that you're facing as a creative person? And the answer that I get more times than not is, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to do my stuff. And I want to, again, I know I've hit this beat on the show before, but it bears repeating endlessly until I stop getting this question. You have to make the most of your own time. And I'll put it this way to kind of hopefully make it clear for you. A lot of the people who win the lottery go broke. They lose it all. Why? Because they don't know what to do with it. A lot of times, most of you, if your schedule were to completely change tomorrow and you were to flip over and get 8 hours a day to work on that novel that you want to write so bad, you would fall apart because you don't know how to spend that time. And so for me, it was whenever I started my corporate job, that was all I did. Like, I had no time to be creative. Like, off of that, I would write some here and there, but as far as making a contribution to this and the work I'm doing online, I didn't have it. And as the time went on, I was able to kind of squeeze time into those cracks and figure out how to spend 15 minutes here and 10 minutes there working on something and going as slow as I could possibly imagine. And as uninspiring as that sounds, I want to encourage you this week to go as slow as you can possibly imagine. Look, most of you are in a position where it's like you have to balance things. You have all these obligations, but you have a dying passion over here that you want to work on. But if you were to flip the switch entirely, you wouldn't know what to do. And so today, right now, today, take 30 seconds of free time that you have and put it into your passion instead. Don't piddle around on your phone, or God, am I 90 years old, piddle around. I got that from my grandfather. Don't waste time here or there. Just take that 30 seconds, take that 90 seconds, take 10 minutes, whatever you have, and start to dedicate that time into what you want to be doing, because then you can slowly make the transition and spend a little more time and a little more time and a little more time. And you learn how to balance both sides until one day, when you've reached that critical tipping point, you can make the move to full time. This week's artist spotlight goes directly on Peter Levels. I found my man on vacation. New ideas, new experiences, new people in my life, go figure. And what he did was so interesting. I'm gonna put some tweets up here and a video if I can grab it. But he basically took apart how he launched a startup, from idea to programming on Twitch, so they held him accountable and he didn't procrastinate, to the marketing side of things. And it's just I think a necessary case study for anyone who wants to be an artist in this day and age, and take your responsibility into your own hands. Look, with the freedom that comes with 2017 also becomes the responsibility to be able to balance both sides of what you have to do. You have to balance your art and your business minds to exist in this world. I honestly believe that to thrive and to accelerate in this world takes a little bit of foot in both waters there. So Peter, check him out and figure out how he really did this thing, and then take some of those principles into your own art and figure out, okay, who am I writing for? Who am I making music for? How can I market this to people who most want to read it? And then you'll start to see, I think, some acceleration in your own art. That's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I always get giddy doing this part because I know I'm about to release another thing into the world, and the fact that you guys are showing up is unbelievable to me. So thank you so much. Ask the audience for this week, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you around programming? Like computer programming, code. Answer down below. I'm really curious to know where you guys are with that, if you feel comfortable about it at all. So ask the audience this week. That's what you get. Much love as always. Again, I'm Todd B from Tennessee, and I will talk with you soon.